Hey everybody, Dr. V here. On this episode, I want to talk about crowdfunding as a way to fund your business. I do want to say one thing real quick, and it'll make a lot more sense as you go through the video, but crowdfunding is designed for new businesses or businesses that are, introducing a new product or scaling in some way. Crowdfunding is not really to keep your business afloat if you're having difficulty. Now, there's unforeseen circumstances like COVID, and I can, that's kind of, a caveat to the general rule of thumb for crowdfunding. However, if you create a campaign to raise money for your business, it's really easy to pick up on organizational and structural issues for an existing business. So you're less likely to reach your goal to raise any significant amount of money if your business isn't, sound, if there's any issues. Because crowdfunders will look into your business. They will go to your website. They will get an idea of how well you're doing. And if they feel as though your business is failing due to a lack of whatever, they're going to be less likely to donate. All right, so crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is one of my favorite ways of raising money for a business, especially for someone like me who doesn't come from any money, or, I'm from the South Bronx. There wasn't anybody in my neighborhood that I could ask for money to help with my business. So crowdfunding is great. Now, side note, my dogs are right here and they will most likely bark at anything. So I apologize if there's an interruption. I'm totally done retaking this video. So, okay, back to crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is a way to raise money through campaigns. Now, the difference between crowdfunding and venture capitalists is that the money is essentially donated to you. Crowdfunders, they generally don't want anything in return. However, on platforms like Kickstarter, you set up a tiered gift-giving system. So that means that you put in, for every $20 or for every person who donates $20, I'm gonna give you a free T-shirt, or for everybody who donates $1,000, you're gonna get free tickets to my event. It really just depends on what you're trying to raise money for and what kind of gift you can give to the crowdfunder. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. Like when I was trying to start an apparel company, I raised $100,000. The average contribution was about $20. So as you can imagine, that's thousands of gifts I would have to give away. So what I decided to do in that case was to offer a shout out on my website. Now, you have to set up the tiers before you initiate or launch your campaign. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind how much money you're looking to raise and the fact that the average contribution is, it varies, but generally it's $100 or less. So you want to make the gifts that you give something that you can afford. One last thing I wanted to mention about crowdfunding is, so there's a variety of platforms. I like Kickstarter. I've used Kickstarter before. There's also GoFundMe. Now, each of the platforms, regardless of how you do this, each of those platforms is going to take a percentage of your money raised. And they'll tell you that right from the beginning. So get an idea of how much money you need, which should come from your financial analysis that you've put in your business plan, which I'll be talking to in a later video. But get an idea of what your startup costs are first, or however much money you need to accomplish this goal of yours. And that's how much money you should ask for. Now, you can always ask for more, but what you're going to do with the money should be very clear in your campaign. So if you are kind of vague about what you're using the money for, crowdfunders who are seasoned and a little more experienced in reading these campaign profiles are going to pick up on that right away. I myself, as a crowdfunder and as someone who has launched their own campaign to raise money, I can tell you it is really easy to figure that out. It's easy to figure out, the legitimate Kickstarters that are out there, or the legitimate campaigns, which I will say that there is a vetting process on Kickstarter. So it's very far and few that an illegitimate business would gain access and be able to launch a campaign or even raise money. But you need to be very clear on what you're going to use the money for. And what I like about, again, Kickstarter is that you get to tell your story. They let you talk about the, the reason why you're raising money, but they also let you tell your story. So, somebody might not necessarily connect with your product, but they might connect with you. I've launched campaigns on gear for like tactical companies or a tactical company. And a lot of people who contributed, they really didn't know much about the use of these products, but they connected with me on a personal level, I guess, and they believed in me. But then on the flip side, people don't really care who you are, and they like your idea, and they donate to your idea. So when you're writing your campaign, you want to create something that you think is really going to resonate with people, but don't try too hard, right? Be honest, because if you're not, folks are going to pick up on that. So again, kind of to backtrack a little bit, crowdfunding is a way to raise money through campaigns on platforms like Kickstarter and GoFundMe. If you need help with writing your campaign, I give tips and tricks in my newsletter, which right now comes out once a week. And that can be, you can sign up for that on jessieverga.com. That's my website. Again, the newsletter is entirely free. Just another resource, some free information for you if you're a business owner or soon to be business owner. I will also say that I do send out a newsletter for veterans specifically, and that is in the works, I should say. Right now, veterans and protected classes and that information there is added to the existing newsletter, but I'll be starting a brand new newsletter specifically for my vets out there. Okay, crowdfunding. We'll do a quick 30-second recap. Crowdfunding is a way to raise money through donations on campaign platform like Kickstarter or GoFundMe. The money you raise and the individuals who crowdfund and donate money to your campaign do not expect anything in return. You don't have to pay them back. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is, as you're setting up your campaign, is establish what gift they'll get in return, what thank you you're going to give them for their donation. Okay, so I hope that helped. I hope you kind of have a better understanding of what crowdfunding is. I try to keep these videos relatively short. What I will say though is if you go to jessieverga.com, I do have a newsletter. It's completely free. What I do is I give the more elaborate explanation of what I go over in these videos in that newsletter. And I also include, links and, other resources that might help you determine whether, something like crowdfunding is right for you. So go ahead, head to my website, click subscribe if you like these videos. Again, I usually do a quick summary of what's in the newsletter and vice versa. I'll elaborate on something if I need to in these videos, but yeah, thanks. Again, I'm Dr. V, and I'll see you next week.